Hello, I'm Professor Jennifer Vinieri, and the purpose of this particular video is to teach paralegal students how to enter information into Jubilee, specifically how to enter Form 122 means test information in, which is a test to determine whether a particular debtor is eligible to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy or not. So this video is for educational purposes only, and it's not intended to give legal advice. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And we're going to see the pay stubs that this particular client has given. So notice that we have pay stubs for a wide variety of time ending in January of 2024, which is now. And it looks like they go back all the way to June, and you're going to see why. So in the Jubilee software, there's a number of tabs, and the tab that you're going to look at is going to be called Form 122 means test. And before I move on to that screen, I just want to show you that these fictional pay stubs for Samuel T. Sample include, gross pay, the withholdings, as well as for the key pay stubs year-to-date figures. So for June of last year, he had $26,000 as his income. So this is a salaried employee. And by the end of the year, he had earned $52,000. So now I'm going to share a different screen with you. I'm going to share the Jubilee screen so that you can see what to do in the software. So just want to make sure that you can see that. So within the Jubilee software, again, you can see the different tabs. So associated parties, petition, which has most of the main information in the body of the bankruptcy petition, and then means test. And the means test is what we're focused on here. So details here, the first thing to enter is the household size, which is 1, and then the zip code of the debtor, which is 14606. Now notice the means test period for the income. So this calculation period is very important, and it's defined by something in a previous tab, which is under the petition tab, under general information, and then under projected filing date. So here we have 1/30 of 2024, which is just about a week from now. So that's appropriate, and it dictates the information that's used in the means test. So if you had a fictional client that was going to file later, then this projected filing date would need to be adjusted, and it's going to inform the software what to do next. So again, back in the means test, you can see that the calculation period is correct. So it's the 6 months ending with the last month before the month of filing, and then the current monthly income. So you would go to the current monthly income tab and click on gross employment income. And then you would hit this little pencil button to edit it. And then notice that there's time periods, July, August, September through December. This is correct in how it should look. You would hit new. And the most efficient way to enter this is with year-to-date income. So that's the fastest and easiest way to enter this whenever possible. So year-to-date income is going to tell you what the time periods the software is focusing on, which are accurate. Here in June of 2022, we're going to enter regular pay. So if I scroll back up on the pay stubs that I had showed you before, as of June of 2022, he had $26,000. So for purposes of, and it looks like, no, that's correct. So $26,000 was the gross pay. Now recall that for means test purposes, we use gross pay and not net. So that's to determine eligibility for filing. However, for purposes of using this bankruptcy software correctly, we typically would want to carry these figures through to the income schedule, which is a part of this petition tab. So notice I'm going to say use year-to-date income for Schedule I. This can be checked or unchecked. So if there was a case where that wasn't appropriate, you could uncheck it, but typically that is appropriate. And what that means is, although the deductions don't matter most of the time for the purpose of the means test, if the person qualifies for Chapter 7, they do matter for entry here because the software connects it back to Schedule I. So you would hit deductions, and then notice I on the pay stubs had these figures. I'm just gonna share back to that with you for just a minute so you can see what I mean. And so the pay stub figures here, the last pay stub for August, for the month of June is what we'd be looking at. So I'm going to put the federal figure into the software. So $3,900 is going to also go on to the software. The state withholding was $2,600. That's going to go into the software. Medicare was $377. And then Social Security was $1,612. So I'm going to put that in and I'm going to save that part. And I'll switch the screen back so you can see again, now that you're seeing kind of where on the pay stubs I'm getting this from. I'll switch back over to Jubilee so that you can see that. So I just did the deductions we just talked about here in Jubilee. And now I'm going to go to the next step, which is the December pay stub. And I'm just going to take the figures off the pay stubs again and enter them into the software. So the regular gross income was $52,000 at that point at the end of the year. The federal withholdings were $7,800. New York was $5,200. Medicare was $754. And Social Security was $3,224. So if there's more deductions, then obviously you would need to include them. But for this simple example, that's it. I have this box check to use the year-to-date income for Schedule I. I'm going to hit save and close. And then you should see here an average calculated automatically by the software, and that does look correct. And then if you back up and hit details, it's going to tell you that this sample person, Samuel Sample, is below the means. He passes the means test because his annual income is below the median income. And so that means he's good. He's eligible to file the Chapter 7. We're going to hit save and close. And that completes the basic entry of the Form 122 means test. And I just want to show you what else happens in the software. If you go to petition and schedule the income and expenses schedule, the income shows up here. So this is the net income that he has, and it appears that we had already entered expenses. And so you get a nice calculation at the bottom there. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for your time.